I hope you guys will mind me yapping about my technically hyperfixation. Okay, where should I start about? Let's start with how did I found out about the Cookie Run Kingdom, because Cookie Run Kingdom was the first Cookie Run game I actually found out about this. I remember the voice actor of Muscle Cookie actually played Cookie Run Kingdom. I can't remember which one, but I think it was one where he technically testing the old-fashioned way of how to defeat the opponents very easily and quickly and fast. That's how I remember, if I'm being honest. And well, that's how I probably found out about Cookie Run Kingdom. The Cookie Run Kingdom I joined was right before the Halloween ended, but also the update for the technically winter update was also here. Let's just say I joined it before the winter update was technically announced, and that was Frost Witch and the Lantern in the Snow. That's how I remember this one. And honestly, I love this story so very much. And that's probably how I started to love for Cookie Run games. And of course, my special girl, Cotton Cookie. Like I said before in the stream, you cannot change my mind, because Cotton Cookie will always be my favorite girl. Like not her only by her looks, but also her lore and everything. So yeah, that's technically what happened. But then I stopped playing game after some of the updates of the game. I can't remember which one. But then I came back to play Cookie Run Kingdom again in update of Golden Cheese Cookie update and BTS collaboration update. And I was like, you know what? I guess I should have played this game again. And I did, and I freaking love it because there's so much lore, and to be completely fair, I start to also fall in love with some of the cookies that you probably see in the stream, that I did tell you that I have a crush on Stormbringer Cookie, who is a female, by the way, and I honestly don't know if I should feel safer that I have a crush on a female, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I already said this on the stream, and it's already I don't know what to say, if I'm being honest. Okay, before anyone going to say about this, my mental health is okay. I'm okay. Nothing is wrong with me. I go to the therapist every single Monday, and that's it. Nothing is wrong with me. But the way I'm about to talk about the Yandere novel games is going to be a bit different. So the story of how did I found out about Yandere novel game, and what was the first ever Yandere novel game I actually found out. So believe it or not, I found out about the Yandere novel games back in 2023, and it was Your Boyfriend game. I remember Your Boyfriend game was having I don't know, 3 days, and there was no 4 or 5 days, just it. And the problem is that I can't remember which of the YouTubers I actually step on to even recognize this bald ass man. I don't know why I get attracted to this guy. I don't know why, but the way he was acting is actually got me into it. And again, I don't know why, and I started to notice that I was not alone. There was actually more of the girls, or maybe other boys, are also into Peter Dunbar. That's his real name, by the way. And well, others of the visual Yandere novel games, of course, which is there's 1,000 of them or something like that. I didn't count, if I'm being honest. But yeah, to be completely fair, there's actually some good, some very disturbing, but still good, and there's straight up bad. And maybe also planning to make a tier list of it. probably sometimes in the future, yeah. And before anyone going to say, yes, I know yanderes are very, very bad. And I always said from the past saying this, dating a yandere person in real life is a bad idea. Because I don't want to point out someone, but this bitch already proved that being a yandere in real life is very bad and it's very unhealthy for you. If you have those type of thoughts of dating yandere boyfriends or girlfriends, then you need to double check the reality, guys. So for the last my yapping of hyperfixation, it's Pokemon. So for those who don't know, I am crazy about the Pokemon, especially the crossover fanfic. So it all started when I was like a little child. I was watching some of the Pokemon, probably like the Hoenn region Pokemon. I remember that. And then throughout the many years, I never remembered Pokemon until 2015 hits, and I decided to like revisit the Pokemon because for some reason I somehow remembered them. And I watched Pokemon in Russian because that's the only things I know. But after I started to learn English, I decided to watch Pokemon in English. And well, I hate to be like I hate to embarrass myself, but I always thought that Pokemon was a cartoon. After I technically realized that Pokemon is actually anime, which probably make a lot of sense if I'm being honest. And that's actually it. And I started watching Pokemon so many times. I even remember I remember I watched the Netflix of the Pokemon, like Pokemon Journey, Pokemon Master Journey, and Ultimate Journey, and of course the last one, also Journey, but I don't remember what it's called. But I do remember it's about Ash and I think it was Latias, this red one, if I remember this correctly. I'm very terrible at Pokemon names. I'm sorry. But for those who are wondering, I actually posted on YouTube community that's of my favorite Pokemon list, like all the lists of my favorite Pokemon, my favorite types, and and also pretty much everything else. And well, yeah. And then years later, I found out about the Pokemon crossover, which the first Pokemon crossover I found out was My Hero Academia. I remember I watched the YouTube where an artist made a combination of both My Hero Academia characters and the Pokemon, and I really love it. At first I was agreed that Izuku and Eevee would be best because Eevee is technically a position of the one for all. But then again, when I read the fanfic where Izuku has Riolu, I thought to myself, this is again makes sense. Because Riolu are technically like Izuku's past. And well, I started to like having a bit of a combat, but then I realized that both of Eevee and Riolu is actually great. And again, I'm yapping about something that isn't about my hyperfixation. I just realized that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm very into both Pokemon and the Pokemon crossover fanfic to be exact. But to be completely fair, I actually want to make a list of my favorite Pokemon crossover fanfic, which I'm putting on the screen, and maybe later from the next video I probably will talk about some of the technically best Pokemon crossover. I think it's the best for it to like making a Pokemon crossover. And to be completely fair, I actually kind of waited for someone to make actually good fanfic of My Hero Academia and Pokemon. I did find one, but this guy like discontinued this because he's no longer interested in both Pokemon and My Hero Academia, and that actually made me a little bit sad. So yeah.